he was saying to me that fighting your parents really has no purpose. I mean, they really do love you. They're on your side. You should apply your energy towards other things. And, eventually he made me feel kind of foolish. Like, yeah, why was I taking these, what I thought were kind of arbitrary rules, or where my mom would say, you should respect me. And I'd say, well, I don't know. And a little bit, as I figured out, I could understand things like playing cards as well or better than my grandmother, or, I could read books that had complicated things. I was a bit showing off to saying, because my cognition is good, why should you be able to set arbitrary rules? But anyway, I'm embarrassed when I think about it now. But Dr. Cressy was so encouraging to me in general, and then got across. He probably understood at the first meeting, that I had to be convinced to make this change, but he did it in a super nice way. And so the idea that, no, my parents, yes, they're imperfect, but wow, they're on my side, that changed my behavior.
Yeah, and he also had these beautiful ways of, you said he never belittled you, and I believe he used to mention to you, you're going to win, or he wanted you to win. And I feel like that's, what did those things do? Because it's almost like you're saying he made you have this realization that you were wrong, but it seemed like he did it in a very graceful, elegant way. Like, how did he do that?
Absolutely. I thought, I need to be so clever to win, and I'm going to apply all this energy to win. And so the idea when he says, no, you're going to win, it's like, oh, I see. It's not because I'm clever. It's because it's us, they care for me, and they're trying, to help me. And, their main concern is, am I ready, to go out in the world? And if I have capabilities, will I develop those and use those? And, my mom always had a way of kind of pushing me to do more. I said to her once, you told me to go to the heart of school. And she said, no, I never actually said that. And I said to her, well, wait a minute. When other parents would come over, you'd say how bad they must feel that their kid didn't go to college or something like that. So, okay, it was indirect, but, it was kind of there. So, my mom certainly encouraged me, and sometimes I felt overwhelmed by that. But my eventual reaction to just, try to outdo any levels she set, and ended up working out well.
Yeah. What was something that you didn't value about your mom at that time that now looking back, you say, no, I do value that?
Well, things like table manners. I'm like, well, I have to take the ketchup and put it in a bowl and then do this, and I'm not supposed to put my elbows on the table. And, she was just, trying to make sure I was civilized a little bit, what I would wear. And they definitely got me engaged with adults. My social skills were slow to develop with people other than a few boys like myself. But with adults, because they were having them over, and I, got so I could ask those adults to talk about what they were doing, that was really valuable to me, because I ended up through that and through one of my early friends having more of an outlook of, where am I headed at quite a young age, which was super helpful.
Yeah, it's so funny. As I was reading the book, I was reminded of, so when I graduated from college, I didn't go to my graduation ceremony because I left to become a monk.
Wow.
And my parents were very kind and accepting of my decision, but my mother still has this feeling that she doesn't have a picture of me graduating, wearing the hat and, holding my certificate. And I remember I was having the same feeling that you were, where my mom would always say to me, when I go to my friends' houses, they're telling me about all the jobs that their kids are doing and the apartment they just moved into, and you're just there being a monk. Like, she'd say that to me. And it was always that kind of feeling, like that sense of pressure to live up to something she wanted me to do, even though there was love and there was acceptance. And I was wondering for you, like you said it yourself, she was such a powerhouse. She had such high expectations. When did you feel that you reached that? Or do you feel you've reached that?
Well, unfortunately, my mom passed away in her early 60s. She got breast cancer. And so I had gotten married 6 months before she passes away. So she never got to see that I tried to follow her example as a parent. She never got to see the foundation get going. My dad actually ran the foundation and got it off to a fantastic start. So he was involved. But her sort of dictate about, okay, if you are successful, you have to give back. It's a shame that she didn't get to kind of participate and see that I'm following what she said, despite all the times I push back on her.
Yeah. Do you still feel that today, that it's almost like her voice is in your head and she's present in that way?
Oh, absolutely. The sense I have of, okay, I've got to do this and do that well, that's, really came from her. My dad more set the example of being calm and thoughtful, also great values, but much, it wasn't through the interaction. He would, leave pretty early, and if my mom had to escalate to call him in, you knew you better give in, because that was kind of the ultimate thing. But yeah, so each in their own way, he through example, her through high expectations, deserve a lot of credit. And, part of this book is to really honor them and two of the young friends I had who set me on a great path. Well, it's pretty insane. This is a world where somebody can have over $100 billion. I mean, that, what is that? You don't want to just give that to children and create some dynasty. That's not even a favor to them. Sadly, the wealth metric is an easier one to compute than, the impact you've had philanthropically. I have a good friendship both with Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. Elon stands by himself. Maybe that drives everybody else together. I don't know.
I was wondering, what was your biggest realization about your father from writing this book?
It's weird. I've always underestimated how incredible my father was. His values, even the exchange with my mom, before they get married. One of his dreams was to be a federal judge, and that was offered to him. And because his law firm would have had great difficulties, he said, no, that would hurt my colleagues, so I'm not going to do that. And I had written him a note saying, gosh, I hope it's not because you had to pay all that tuition that you're not getting to do this. And I'd forgotten he'd written me back such a nice note. So, in digging through, I'm amazed we ended up keeping those things. It was so touching to me. I'll spend my whole life trying to live up to the example he set.